Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is undefeated prospect, Shad Walters. Hello, Shad. How are you?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you for taking the invitation. And a few weeks ago, you defeated in a very like fascinating way the also an undefeated prospect, a very good fighter. It was Jamie Mora Munoz. So, if you can tell me, how happy are you after this bout?
I'm pretty happy. Obviously, I got the finish first round. You can't really ask for much more than that. But the way that I did it, my entire career, I've been counted out for my grappling. I didn't go to high school or I didn't wrestle in high school. I went to high school, but I didn't wrestle, for all my life until I was 22 years old. I was just always a scrappy guy. So, um, I've been counted out for my wrestling for a long time, but I've been around great wrestlers for my entire career. So, I'm just grateful that, going into my pro career, I've got two knockouts and two submissions. So it just says a lot about my skills that I'm not just a striker anymore to go out there and put a purple belt to sleep in the first round. It's huge for me. I know Dana White wants to see finishes. He doesn't want to see some boring decision maker every time. I come out to finish every fight. I dream about how I'm gonna finish you every night. You know what I'm saying? So, um, it's perfect, man. I feel like I'm in a really good spot, and I couldn't really ask for much more. So.
And to be honest, with 4-0 in the promotion, I think that you should be somewhere close to fighting for the title.
Yeah, I think so too. I would say maybe 6-0. I mean, I'm ready for it anytime. I mean, the guy who's got it right now, he's kind of scary, but at the same time, like these are the guys that I have to go through in order to get to where I want to be. So, at the end of the day, we're all we're all men, and every man can get his lights put out, and every man can get submitted too. So, I think that if I just continue to train like I've been training, which is like a maniac, I can hang with the best of them, especially in the LFA. And so, and it's good for me too because I've built a good relationship with the LFA. I had two fights for them as an amateur as well. So I've had six fights with the LFA. I've got two more fights with them on my contract with them. So it's going really well. I'm happy.
And actually, one of your previous fights, it was against Patrick Cornett, and I think that it was also an impressive fight because there were some trouble, let's say, but in the end we were able to finish him in the third round. So I think that it also can show everybody that you are not only finisher in the like first round or first minute, but you always can do it in like 13 or 14 seconds in the fight.
Yeah, yeah. Definitely, man. I've shown that I can go, I mean, I can get dropped and I can come back, collect my thoughts, and come back and still finish the fight with, there was 23 seconds left when I choked the guy out. I didn't know it was that close. I knew it was close, but at the same time, it's just that finisher mentality is what I have. And I feel like most of these guys don't go out there like that. Like just I'm ready to die by the sword because this is the only thing I care about other than my kids. So you're gonna have to kill me when I go out there. So the title, I mean, if they want to offer it to me, I'll take it as soon as they want to give it to me, man.
And in my opinion, the reason why you are right now you are super successful, maybe it is your like amateur career because there you were 4-4, so maybe it wasn't a perfect record, but in the end you fought against really tough fighters. I actually checked
Yeah,
all of your losses, and three guys that you lost to are very good professional fighters, and one is very good amateur fighters. So it's
yeah,
kind of crazy that only that you lost only to really really good fighters also have very good prospects.
Yeah, that's the thing. In most of them were all wrestlers is the thing. And so that was early in my career. And again, they were all, I think almost every single one of them was for an amateur title. Maybe one of them wasn't. Um, but also I just to mention, like, between kickboxing and MMA fights in Mexico, I've had 25 fights, so I've only had four professional. So before I went professional, I had 21 times I went into the ring and actually fought somebody, regardless of MMA or kickboxing. Um, I went My first MMA fight, I went to Mexico and Durango, and I fought three times in one night, and that was the first time I ever fought in MMA. So, and yeah, that's just been my mentality throughout my entire career is like, I don't like to say no to people. We only have so long to do this thing, so why not go out there, at least give my best. And I've hung with some of the best amateur prospects, you know, my entire career just because I didn't say no. I wasn't scared of people, and I wasn't afraid to take a loss. After I took my first loss, it was just like whatever, this it hurt me a lot at first, but after that it was just like, it never once when I lost did I question why I'm doing this. Do I want to continue doing this? It's never been a question of mine. So I've always just, been the type to where I okay, that's just a name, he's just a man just like me. He bleeds as well. He can go out, and um, I'm just not afraid to go out there against whoever, whenever. And yeah, my amateur career was a long and a hard one, and I think that is one reason why I am successful right now, because we waited until I thought I was ready, not only technically but mentally, because there was some mental things that I had to take care of, and those are some of the reasons why I lost some of those amateur fights, because I was new to competition. I was a grown man, but I had never competed in anything before. So it was a new feeling. And once I learned how to harness that, now everything's coming together.
And last year you were scheduled to make your pro debut, I believe, few times, and the fights in the end were cancelled. And how frustrating it was that you had a date, you were preparing to be in the best shape of your career, and in the end the bout were cancelled.
In the end, I think everything happens for a reason, man. I just thank God that it's going the way that it is, because um looking back, my initial first pro debut was supposed to be in the LFA versus Gavin Teasdale. That would have been that probably would have been a harder fight you know than any other fight that I was offered at for my pro debut, because he was I believe a Hawkeye wrestler. I mean, I don't know, but he was a real deal competitor, and I might have lost that just because I got out wrestled. But again, that was just me saying I don't care. I'm ready. Give me whoever. And so we were on the way to the airport. Um, we were on the way to O'Hare Airport, and they called and said that he canceled. So that really stuck. And then I had my pro debut in town, uh, in my hometown, and I missed weight. That would hurt me more because I got sponsors for it and everything, and I felt like a real idiot for that one. And so I kind of took it as a punishment and just accepted it for what it was, continued to train. And then the thing is, I got offered for my real pro debut for the LFA on 6 days' notice in Texas. And I had to jump through so many hoops with my job, with medicals and everything, just to make that debut happen. And it was just a good opponent, and we didn't want to pass it up. Perfect opportunity. And so and it worked out great. But that it was also cool because he was a grappler, and he tried to take me down, and I went and knocked him out, and so it worked out great for me. But I will say, for any of those fighters that like wanted, like Chael Sonnen or whoever wants to sit here and talk about how ring rust isn't a thing, ring rust is a thing. It's not when it comes to the technique or your ability to perform. It comes down to the adrenaline dump and how it feels when you're in there. Because when I went into my pro debut, I was 8 months out from my last fight. 8 months is a hell of a long time to go without fighting. And sometimes these guys in the UFC go 2 years. And I'm like, holy cow. Um, because you can only simulate it so much. And so my pro debut, it was a blur in my head. I barely like it's like Jesus took the wheel and my body did it for me because it was a blur. But then I went into my next fight after that. It was only 2 months after, and ever since then, I've just everything's been clicking. I've been 100% there, and I know that when I'm 100% there mentally, I can stand with some of the best of them, man. I'll tell you what. So yeah.
So you like this kind of activity, right? That you are fighting, maybe not all the time, but in the end, like probably 4 or 5 times a year would be perfect for you.
Yeah, I like 4 times a year. 4 times a year sounds good to me, and I think I would like to kind of keep that pace throughout my entire career. When I go to the UFC as well, you gotta stay active, otherwise you become irrelevant.
And of course, right now you are a great finisher. You finished all of your pro bouts, and of course, the fighter that you will be fighting next, of course, he will be like super high level because in the end, the kind of opposition will still go up. But in the perfect scenario, do you have a like perfect finish in your mind that you would like to end your fight with?
You know, I just gotta keep making highlights, man. It really like my dream finish really is a omoplata, like to put somebody in omoplata and then pound them out from that position. That's like my dream finish. But you know, I need to go out and finish whoever the heck it is again. Um, I think I've only went to decision once or twice out of 25 fights. So keep that in mind. I'm not looking to do that. It's die by the sword. And the thing is, I know the next guy that I run into is going to be very high level because nobody in their right mind is going to take the fight against me, knowing what I bring to the table unless they are high level. And I know like those options are going to continue to dwindle, and then that's when I'm going to go to the UFC. So, I think I'm only one, maybe two finishes away from getting Dana White and Sean Shelby's attention, and it's just going to be up from there. But yeah, so I'm really in my mind one more finish, and either I'll call for the title. I will, and everybody knows you win the LFA title, you pretty much go to the UFC. So I'm just hoping to get picked up before I go then. But if not, it's all good.
But actually, I think that it's quite possible because right now you are 4-0, so the contender series just ended. So you can be like 2 or 3 finishes away from the fighting in the contender series because you have this kind of style that everybody like. It's a finishing style. We are looking for the not a decision win. You are always going for either submission or the knockout. So to be honest. I think that it's quite possible, 2 or 3 wins, and we can see you in the like August or September next year there in front of the Dana White.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. So I want to, I'm not sure. I'm just really like right now. I'm sorry for that, but I'm just waiting for. my next fight to I think the LFA is looking right now, and I think they're probably struggling to find somebody to get me on these cards before the end of the year. So that's what I'm really hoping for is to get on something before the end of the year, man. Literally, I don't care who it is. I just need something and soon. Uh, so one second, please. I'm in here, but I'm busy. All right, all right. Sorry about that. But yeah, sorry about that. But go ahead.
And do you have a maybe name or the style in mind in your next fight that you would like to face? Maybe take revenge against wrestlers, or maybe you would like to face against another very good striker just to show that you are better between two of you.
You know, it's weird because I just feel like this has been like a reoccurring thing throughout my whole career is like nobody fights me how they fight other people. So it's so weird when I go in there and like, it everything's just so different, It doesn't matter what tape I look at of them doing this or that. They just don't fight the same as when they fight me. And I think part of that is like my power. Um, Hopefully people are seeing that, I'm deadly from any angle and I can get you in a scramble if you're not careful. Really, I would like maybe somebody that mixes it up, makes it a little bit harder for me. In Vegas, that was a 3 round fight. But it wasn't that fast paced. It really wasn't. We did a lot of things and there were some scrambles and stuff, but it was slower paced because he came in on short notice. So that was one of the reasons why. But just I want to be able to I don't know, I can't say what I want to do against who because I just want to go out and finish somebody and I've shown that I can do it in any way possible. So to me, I just go out there and just try to be myself, man. So whoever they put in front of me, it's it's gonna be my fight. I get to determine how the fight is going to take place because one, I have the takedown defense now. I have the power to dictate where we go on the feet. So and I truly believe I can put out any man on the planet in my division at 135, let alone 125. 125, I can definitely put anybody out. I don't care if they're in the UFC or not. I know I have the power to put any man in my weight class unconscious. So when it comes to that, it just I'm so excited. I'm just excited and that it doesn't matter who they put in front of me because I have supreme confidence in myself. And that's not cockiness, that's just me feeling like I'm fulfilling God's purpose by doing what I'm doing. So
And overall, what was the like main reason that you decided to try MMA to go for your first training?
yeah, so I started watching the UFC on Spike TV, the UFC Unleashed when I was 9 years old, just in my living room by myself. I wasn't watching it with people or nothing, but man, I became obsessed with it when I was like 9 years old. So and my mom used to love it. She used to love Chuck Liddell and George St. Pierre, which George St. Pierre and Anderson Silva became my idols as I started to grow up. And so I've watched the UFC evolve over the years because I never stopped watching it for the last, what is it, 15 years since then. Um, but I kind of not necessarily fell into the wrong crowd, but I never started making good decisions in my high school or scholastic career at all. I graduated high school, but I made a lot of bad decisions, and so I didn't have goals, and those goals and everything didn't start getting worked on until I became like 20 years old and my son was born. And so I had my first kid, and that's when I started trying to change my life a little bit. And eventually, I was working in machine shops and factories and stuff, and I hated my life. And so I was just like, let me try to go after this because it's one of the only things that's ever sparked my interest as far as like something that I actually had passion about. Like I played video games like all my life and I was passionate about that, but that did literally nothing for me ever in my life. So I was like, let me go after this. I know I can be good at this. Growing up in the streets and stuff, I got into a lot of fights because I was smaller. I didn't care and it was fun to me. I got in a lot of fights, and I had some success. I dropped a lot of people with the left hand in the street. So I was like, I got a little something. There's something there, And I used to do like techniques that I would see Anderson Silva do, like kicks and stuff like that. And so um, it was almost like I had training, but I had just watched the UFC for so long that I was able to pick up on some of these things mentally. And so when I got into it at 22 years old, I was able to catch on very quickly because I kind of already knew the things that I wanted to do and the style that I was going to have. Um, Granted, my whole reality was flipped upside down when I realized how hard grappling was and how hard it was to learn. So I've always been a gifted striker. I am 6-1 as a kickboxer. I only lost to one guy, and you know, uh, he's won he's won the Muay Thai belts and stuff before. Um, so yeah, it's the wrestling has been the hardest thing and the thing that I've been mostly focused on for the last 8 years. So that's where it all started was street fighting and watch UFC. I make it as well 2 years old. I finally got in here.
And if you can tell me what is your current main gym, and if it is your first gym that you came to.
Yeah, it is the first gym is the first gym I ever came to actually do MMA. And it's Northern Illinois Combat Club and Fitness here in Rockford, Illinois. So yeah, day one, and I don't plan on going anywhere. I mean, we outsource some training sometimes, but I would like to not go anywhere unless I have to. But that might be a possibility very soon because the level is going to continue to go up. But at the same time, we truly have extremely gifted trainers here. Gustavo Rodriguez, um, he's our main Muay Thai coach. We've got Thomas Holder, and so they're just really good guys, and I believe that we have what it takes to get to the big show if we don't have to go somewhere else. Anyways, I mean, we've had guys fight in Bellator. I'm in LFA. We've had guys in Glory Kickboxing. So we've been around. We've got the connections and we've got the skills. So that's one of my dreams is to make it to the UFC from my hometown gym in a small town where the people care.
And I think that overall in MMA there is not the only right way to do things because you can be like in the super big gym like in ATT, Kill Cliff, and
Yeah.
be great, go to the UFC. But also you can train in the smaller gyms maybe with not big names but also a very skillful fighters, and you still can be in the big organization. So I think that it's not only impossible but it is a possible to go from the smaller gym.
Yeah. Definitely, like Leon Edwards. I mean, they're not even known for their wrestling, and they've turned around and they beat one of the best wrestlers in the game. Granted, he just lost again, but that's just a prime example. Like he got to the world championship training with the people that he started with. You know what I mean? So if they can do it, I can do it too. I'm a full believer that we have what it takes. So
And can you share any names of the fighters, maybe prospects like you on the either pro or amateur level that you see the potential that they can be a big stars in the future?
yeah, well, we just started training with this guy, Caleb Wall. He's fought in the APFC, Anthony Pettis fighting. Um, he's 2-1 amateur featherweight, but man, he's definitely a prospect I'd be looking out for, guys. Caleb Wall. Uh, he's long, he's fast, he's a wrestler, but he's also a great striker. Definitely somebody to look out for. November 9th, we have all of our hometown heroes, all the fighters that are from the hometown, all the gyms that are in the city. We're all fighting at the Tabala Event Center November 9th on State Line Rumble. So I won't be fighting because I'm under contract with the LFA, but everybody in our city is, so all the fighters from our gym and the gyms surrounding here. So definitely those are some prospects to be looking out for on there. Seth Swinehart, um, Jordan Baxter. Yeah, I mean, we got a couple of guys, but I'm not great with remembering things on that spot. So
And do you like to train or spar with a little bit bigger fighters? Of course, not the heavyweights, but maybe lightweights, maybe welterweights too.
yeah, no, I mean, I spar with heavyweights too. When it comes to kickboxing, like I'll spar with anybody just because that's the level that I am. I'm kickboxing is what I was like naturally gifted at. Muay Thai is a little bit different. It's a different sport, but when it comes to just, uh, kickboxing, sparring, regular sparring, I don't care who you are and how big you are. I prefer people to be closer to my size, but we really don't have too many guys that are my size, especially when it comes to MMA. So the thing is, my entire career, I've been the nail man. I've always been the small guy, and I've been getting hammered on for 8 years. And now, when I go into the cage, it's my turn to do the hammering. I'm the nicest guy in the world. I'm the one of the best guys to train with, like be training partners with. I'm kind, compassionate and caring, but I work very hard and I try to teach as many people as many things as I can. But like I said, I'm in the training, you got to be the nail. And so when I go in the cage, I become the hammer and let it all out. Um, so yeah, yeah. So if that answers your question, sorry, lost my train of thought.
And right now you are 29, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So you have a lot of experience either like in the kickboxing or overall in MMA. But when you watch UFC fights, do you have a like maybe name in mind that you would like to face? Either this fight would happen or not. Maybe you would have a like a dream fight in your head.
Yeah, well, I just wanted to say, like, over the weekend, they had this Corey kid and Jacob Hadley fight over the weekend, and I'm like, dude, they called that guy on 3 days' notice, but like, I would have looked better than Jacob Hadley on one day's notice, man. So it's like some of these guys, I'm like, I can hang with these dudes. So it doesn't really matter. Um, as far as the bantamweight division goes, man, there's so many killers and there's so many new killers that are coming in. So, um, I just kind of look at who we got coming up on the prelims and the early prelims lately, and I've just been watching a lot of these guys, a lot of the flyweights and the bantamweights. Um, so it's kind of hard to really catch their name as far as like somebody that I could call out coming trying to get in there. But you know, Marab Davalishvili is scarier than Sean O'Malley. That's all I gotta say. Like I I I can stand all day, I think, with anybody. But Marab, he mixes it up really well, and he pushes you to those lengths that not many people are able to go to. So, I wouldn't say a lot of these guys are going to be phased out by the time I get there, but I've just never liked Sean O'Malley, and I would definitely like to fight him. I like his style. I'm not gonna say I'm not. I just don't like his personality. That's all. He's gotten funnier over the years. It's gotten a little funnier, but just to me, I was a big Marab fan going into that one. Um, you know, but props to everybody, for doing props to Sean for coming in and into the UFC the way he did it and how he did it. Yeah, but I'd fight him.
So you don't agree that he won the fight?
No, no.
Yes, but I think that in the end is a quite funny gimmick because he also was saying that he's undefeated, but of course he got this one loss against Marlon Vera. So I think that in the end it's a kind of funny thing.
Yeah, it was honestly hilarious. He and the way he's still playing it off is actually hilarious. That's funnier than the entire build up to the fight. Anything he did building up to the fight. Rob sold that fight really well for me, but now Sean, he's actually but that's how you got to deal with a loss, man. That's great that he's able to do it that way and he's still making money, so who cares?
And before you mentioned two absolute legends, Anderson Silva and GSP. And like 14 years ago, there was a lot of like unofficial talks about the super fight Anderson against George. And at that point, in like 2011 or 2012, who do you think would win this fight?
GSP. I mean, I yeah, GSP. GSP was he was a bigger one of my favorite because he was able to, and Anderson Silva obviously can do it all too, but he never showed his wrestling. And GSP was able to double leg you and freaking legs into the air, and he was able to Superman punch you also and head kick you, and like there was just he was able to do it all. So I think GSP, and that's the thing is GSP did it all too. Anderson Silva left too much in the tank sometimes in his career. He liked to play around too much. It became too easy for him and he made mistakes. So it was like I feel like GSP was the type where he didn't make mistakes. He did everything in his power to not make a mistake, and that's why he was so good. And uh Anderson was just one to have a lot more fun with it because if you ask GSP throughout his career, he said it was terrifying. He hated it. He hated actually going into the fight because he just hated that feeling. And Anderson Silva loved that feeling, so he was able to just be himself and flow out there and have fun with it. And so that's why we all loved both of them for both of those different reasons.
Yes, I agree, but it's like I think that kind of unfortunate that in the end it didn't happen because it was a like true super fight in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, now that would have went down in history for like the biggest super fight. That would have been like the first super fight, dude. That would have been yeah. So before Conor McGregor, that would have been the super fight of super fights.
Okay, Shad. So many thanks for the conversation. I think that soon you will add a few more finishes. And to be honest, if I have to like predict something, I think that you will be in the contender series next year.
Right on, man. I really appreciate that. I'm hoping that's the plan for me. So let's hope it sees through.